I had to perform with a well-known rapper, and when we were performing, after I was the first, got up, did my thing or whatever, get back down, then it was his turn to get up. And when he got up, it was like a voice came to me and was like, go to the back of the club, because we was in this club. And I went to the back of the club. I sat back there and I began to watch as the voice was instructing me to do. And as I started to watch, he started rapping. And as he started rapping, I saw shadows, like dark shadows coming out of his mouth and going into the people, to the women and to the men. I started noticing the women getting more like seductive and promiscuous. And then the guys started getting more rowdy and violent. And next thing you know, gunshots start happening in the club. And I run out and I go to my car and I'm just crying. And I'm like, this is what you want me to see. And a voice from heaven said this, and I'll never forget it, because that's what really made me. It was like, I can't do this anymore. He said, the same spirits that torment you while you make your music is the same spirits that would torment others when they listen to it. And from that day forward, I was just like, I cannot lead a generation down the wrong path. And it just messed me up, because it's like, we don't realize that when we're making secular music, if it doesn't start from God, like any kind of music, if it doesn't originate from God, then the originator had to be either a demonic spirit influencing you or influencing that sound, or self or flesh. And most of the time it's a demonic spirit, because any spirit or any kind of sound or music you make that has lust in it, violence, perversion, anything contrary to the fruit of the spirit, the things that God tell us we should have, or the things that he tell us not to do, but yet we're putting it in our music saying that it's okay to do. Anything that we're doing contrary to God, we already know there's a spirit behind it, because that spirit will use anything it can to have a door open into somebody's life. And music is one of the most powerful vehicles that a lot of people don't realize, that you're gonna have to literally guard your ear gates and your soul from allowing those things to come in, because we have to literally be watchmen over our soul, over our ear gates and our eye gates, because the enemy will find a way to get in. And then you start realizing that one day you like, I'm living good, I'm fine, I ain't thinking about lust, I'm not thinking about violence, I'm not thinking about none of this stuff. And all it takes is one song to just start popping up in your spirit. And now you're like, oh, let me call this person, or let me go this route, or oh, I'm angry today, I'm ready to hurt somebody, I'm ready to do this. Things that you wasn't feeling, you start feeling when these music start coming on. And I noticed that. I'm like, oh, okay. Now that's why when people want to get in the mood, they start playing some R&B music, or when I see a lot of my friends and family. I remember I had an uncle that used to listen to Tupac all the time, and he was like straight up gangster and thug, and he always say, anytime I hear Hail Mary, I'm ready to hurt somebody for real. I'm ready to shoot somebody. You know what I mean?
Can I say something?
That's how real it is.
Not to cut you off, just to add to what you're saying. I interviewed a young man. He's an ex-Crip, but God delivered him and saved him, changed his life around. But what's ironic, to add to what you're saying, he said that when him and his friends would go to do break-ins and robberies and things like that, he said they would just sit in the car. No, didn't need any weed, no alcohol. They would just sit in the car and listen to Lil Wayne, and that would give them the energy to do what they needed to do, whether that was kicking indoors, robberies. That gave them the motivation to do that. It's by that music. So that's crazy how that works. Music is so powerful, and it has such an influence, just like you're saying. It gives you that energy, but what you're telling us, and I need everybody that's watching, I need you to share, like, and share to somebody that thinks they can be a Christian and still listen to all this secular music, and don't think that nothing is going to influence you, motivate you, or tempt you. But what you're saying is you actually saw spiritually what happens when this kind of music is being played.
Yep, my eyes, and again, I try not to sound like really deep, but it's what happened, and sharing my testimony on several platforms, you get a lot of the naysayers who, this he was on shrooms or he was on drugs or he was doing this. And let me make this disclaimer again that I've said several times. I've never drank alcohol a day in my life, and I never done any drugs a day in my life. I have families that's alcoholics, and I have family members that are drug addicts. I did not want to go down that path. The only issue I had that God had to fully deliver me from was lust and perversion. So let me throw that out there. So I wasn't high. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't off no pills. I wasn't off of shrooms. I wasn't off of anything. God opened my eyes to the spirit world to show me this is what was going on. It shocked me. It blew my mind because I've never experienced stuff like that. And because again, you got to remember, I wasn't 100% saved. I went to church, but I wasn't converted. You know what I mean? I was just like Peter. You know how Peter in the Bible where Jesus anointed him and he was casting out demons. He was doing all this stuff. And then Jesus asked all his disciples, and who do you say that I am? And everyone else is saying, you are Elias and you are this and you're that. And then Peter, you are the son of the living God. You are the Messiah. And Jesus said, flesh and blood did not reveal that to you, Peter, but my Father in heaven, Holy Spirit revealed that to you. That's the only way you would have known that. And on that rock, I'm going to build my church. And Peter, the same person that said all of this stuff, is the same person that said, I don't even know him when the pressure came. And the thing that stuck out to me the most was when Jesus told him, he told him, Peter, Satan desires to sift you as wheat, but I've prayed for you that your faith will not fail you. But this was the most powerful part. He said, when you are converted, go